definitely have coffee this morning. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Chat with me, Catherine Oster. So, normally, this is like the most different time that I have ever done Coffee Chat before. It's bright and early on a Friday at 7 in the morning, 7 Central Standard Time, which is where I'm at in Saskatchewan. Hi, who's live with me? Good morning. So, hey Donna, good morning. How are you? So, normally I do coffee chats in the afternoon, and I've done like Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon, and this week we were at the lake. We got away to the lake for a few days, and so Wednesday wasn't going to be happening because I knew that we were wanting to be on the boat. Yesterday we were driving home, which was that kind of took up. Happy to be alive. I am happy you're alive too, lady. So that kind of took up our Thursday afternoon. And then I'm like, why don't I do coffee chat Friday morning? Like first thing, bright and early. So I'm definitely having coffee this morning. It's delicious. Anyway, for those of you that are watching this in the future and that haven't caught a coffee chat before, I'm Catherine Oster and I am a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness, and coffee chats are about how I use the tools of Access Consciousness in my life. Conversation and topics about being present and conscious and how you can create your life from and as through consciousness. So today I'm going to chat about being nice or being kind. And so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and you can just answer for yourself whatever's true for you, yes or no. So truth, have you misidentified or misapplied niceness as kindness or kindness as niceness? So I'm going to run the Access Consciousness clearing statement, which is this kind of conglomeration of funny words that clears the energy. It's like an energetic magic wand. So I don't know if you noticed, but when I asked that question, there was an energy that came up. So I'm going to ask it again, and we're going to run the clearing statement. So truth, have you misidentified and misapplied kindness as niceness? And everything that is, times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So that's the weird words. That's the clearing statement. And yeah, I totally did too. I'm going to say I'm a recovering nice person, turning into a kind person. I was so worried about being nice to everybody. Being nice to everybody. When you are being nice, that doesn't include you. You are not taking into consideration yourself. You are more concerned about being nice to other people. And actually, I was chatting with a gal last night. She was telling me about her workplace and how frustrated she is being there right now because she's literally doing everything. She's literally killing herself working there. Like in the sense that her body now has stuff coming up. Hey, good morning, guys. In the sense that her body is not feeling well. Her body is in pain. Good morning, Loretta. Her body's in pain. She is tired. She has some stuff breaking out on her skin. And then she's telling me about how many hours she's putting in at work. Good morning, Lori. Hey, Roxy. How many hours she's putting in at work and looking after and handling all the stuff. And she actually, for the first time in a long time, took like a week vacation from work, which was actually a really, good morning, Joy, a really, really uncomfortable choice for her. And when she came back from her vacation, she had all these plans that she was going to get this and this and this done because she's like setting up a new accounting system for the business she's working in. And she came back from holidays. Nothing was looked after while she was away. So she actually had to spend 3 days. Hey, good morning, Lil. She had to spend 3 days getting caught up from her vacation. And they were like, she was working like 14-hour days. Like she went in at like 5 in the morning and worked until like 8 or 9 at night. So that's 12. That's like 15, 16-hour days. So she could get caught up from work plus stay caught up during the day. And she couldn't even manage that. So there was no hope that she could get done what she had planned. And she's telling me about this and how frustrated she is. Frustrated she is because she has told her bosses that she only wants to go back to working part-time, like 4 days a week. But then she feels like she can't because there's nobody else to do her job. And I said to her, I'm like, they're not going to hire anybody as long as you're doing it because you're looking after it for them. And she's having a struggle. This is her struggle. She wants to be nice to her bosses. And she's been working there for, I want to say like 7 or 8 years now. And she feels, she's like, well, they gave me a job when I didn't have anything else. And I didn't have any training for anything else. And so she feels like she owes them, like she's indebted to them. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, is it kind to you and your body to push yourself that hard? And she's like, it is not kind. And I'm like, okay. So that's where it's like being nice to, suit her bosses, or being kind to yourself, looking after yourself, honoring yourself. This being nice option here is not including her. It is killing her. Her body is not happy. She's not looking after herself. And this being kind option, it's uncomfortable to choose that because she knows her bosses are going to be, she doesn't want to disappoint them. There's all this stuff that comes up. And so that is the gift of getting your bars ran. It allows you to kind of like let all the crap go and be able to make a choice. So right now she's stuck. She has been telling me about this for months. She hasn't been able to make a choice. So that's really interesting. So that's being nice and being kind. Hey, Loretta. Loretta said, I got to tell you, a medium-sized owl sculpture sold in the Canmore Gallery yesterday. Whoop, whoop. So much gratitude for you. Thank you, Loretta. So I think also Loretta's talking about, if you haven't heard, I'm doing a magic game. It's in my other Facebook group called Create Life Worth Living. And we're doing every day an energetic, I go live and we do like an energetic money pull. It's like a money dance. It's really fun. And so I think that's what Loretta's referring to. Good morning, Erin. Yes, perfect for your drive to work. You know what, you guys, I'm really enjoying being live at this earlier time at 7 a.m. So I think Coffee Chat is going to change. I think it's going to be happening in the morning, early morning. We shall see how that goes. Anyway, okay, back to being kind and being nice. I know, I figured, Loretta, but that's totally fine, Loretta, because you know what, you guys, if you're interested in the magic game, I'll put a link to that Facebook group with this video and then you can join us there. So actually, thank you, Loretta, for mentioning that. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the post I made on my personal Facebook page about this thing that came up with my hubby. It was like a couple of years ago now, where I made a different choice. So a little more information about that is it was during harvest time and the farm, so we grain farm, for those of you that don't know. Travis is my husband. Travis would get so stressed out about the weather all summer long, about whether it was going to rain or not, about whether we were going to have a crop. Like he was not enjoyable to be around. He was always fighting the weather every day, and the weather dictated his mood and what it was going to be like. And anyway, it was during harvest time. I had actually just gotten back from Costa Rica, renewing my certified facilitator training. and we got right into harvest. So anyway, I mentioned that because I just had a lot of change in that class and stepped up to being a lot more in my life. And there was just a lot of change. So things were weird, as they are in a relationship when you're changing a lot. They're just weird. Anyway, harvest time, my grain cart breaks down, and he literally lost it, totally lost it. Not on me, but about the grain cart. He was freaking out. He was so mad about the weather because there was he was worried that we weren't going to get done. There was so much stress in his life, and he was just pissed. I can't even, I mean, you might be able to get a sense of the energy right now. So anyway, we were a little ways away from our main farm, so we had to drive, and my son Trace was with us. Our son Trace, not just my son. We had to drive back home to get parts and stuff to see about fixing the grain cart. And Travis was just he was just losing it. He was on this rant, and it was and we got back to the farm, and our son, Trace, was really uncomfortable, and he asked me, he was like, Mom, is Dad gonna be okay? And I'm like, I honestly don't know, Trace, but we share a yard with my brother-in-law and his wife. And so I said to him, I'm like, his older cousins were home, and I'm like, if you want to stay here with them, that's fine. And so he did. So Travis gets back in the vehicle, and we're going back out to the field, and he's just off the wall, being ridiculous. And okay, so I could be that. So I was really practicing being present in the energy of him being in a rage, basically, about the breakdown and about he was just stressed and everything. Being present with that. And I'm just being there like this. And I'm in my head, I'm using the tools. I'm running the clearing statement. I am not going into resistance and reaction or fighting him. I'm just practicing just being present. And then he started making fun of me. So that started to piss me off. He started making fun of me. Oh, I'm Catherine. I wake up in a fairy tale every day, and my life is all pleasant and magic. And I looked at him, and I'm like, it actually is. I'm like, and then I just kind of started saying these words. I'm like, you and I don't understand what your problem is, because you and I, we live a very similar life. We wake up in the same house together. We look out the same window together, and I am so grateful to be alive and to have what we have. And you look out there, and all you see is problems and stress. I'm like, so yeah, my life is that. And he kind of went on to make fun of me some more, and I was like, he's never done that before. So that right there, I knew that him being that with me, I'm not going to be with somebody who's going to make fun of me. That is the line for me. I just knew that doesn't work for me. And so I asked a few questions in my head, truth, what would my life be like in 5 years? If I stay with him or if I leave him, because I was really considering that. Hey, Robert. Hi, Sheila. Anyway, it was really truth, what will my life be like in 5 years if I stay with him? That was really light. Truth, what will my life be like in 5 years if I don't? That was really heavy. And so those are some of the questions you learn in a bars class, how to make choices based on the energy of what your choice is going to create in your future. So it's really light to stay with him. So I'm like, okay, universe, show me. Show me. I will stay. I will be. Will you support me? Will you show me? So we get back to the field, and he's still raging and whatever. And I'm just kind of going to hang out and help them move to the next field. And it was maybe a half an hour later, and he was leaving the field with a load of grain to haul it to the bins, and he stopped where I was, and I could tell it was different already. And he came over and he apologized to me. He's never apologized. Now, he has been in our relationship, I was always the one who apologized. Always. If he would be the one who would stay out and not tell me when he was coming home before we were married and not come home till the next day. And I'd be pissed. And then I would be the one that would apologize for that. Like, that's how it worked. That's how I was manipulated because I was so worried about being nice. Anyway, I was shocked. He came over and he apologized. I'm like, okay, universe, wow, holy fuck. Like, okay, I get the message. Anyway, so things kind of, but I really had to look at his behavior, like what was going on. Like, it still didn't work for me. Even though he said, I'm sorry, I'm not, like, that doesn't always make it okay, you know? And so it was like the next day later, we were still combining. Sometimes when the combine slow down in the nighttime, I'll sit with him in the grain truck and we'll visit. So I went over and sat with him. And I'm like, it just flew out of my mouth. Like, you know, how did, like, the way you were acting the other night, like, that doesn't work for me. Like, I'm not gonna be with somebody who treats me that way and makes fun of me for, you know, like, for no reason because you're stressed out about something you can't even control. And that's what I said. And then I was like, oh, Catherine, why did you even say anything? However, you also develop this trust that when you say something, it's actually required at the time. So, of course, then things all went all weird and he wasn't talking to me. He was kind of in this pout. It was weird. Of course, it was weird. And so when we were done combining, we get home and, you know, those nights where you're like, things are weird and you're both laying in bed but nobody's sleeping. Nobody's saying anything. That's what that night was like. And then I'm just like asking the question in my head, like, what else is possible with this? What can I say or be to change this? Because it was kind of stuck in limbo right now. And then I knew it. I knew that I needed to say about Trace, about our kids. And it's true. Trace asked me if his dad was going to be okay when he saw him in the rage. So I got up the next morning. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, we were driving the other day and you were raging, I'm like, for no reason. And then you started making fun of me. Trace was with us and he heard all of it and he saw that. And he asked me if you were going to be okay. And I actually had to tell him that I didn't know because you were being crazy. I'm like, that just doesn't work anymore. Doesn't work. And so anyway, and then I left it at that. And then he actually came, so we're still combining. He actually came over to my tractor later that day. And he's like, you know what? He's like, I totally understand. And I understand, I'm sorry. And if you want me to get another place to live, I will. And I knew in that moment that he said that and the way that he said that it was different. And I'm like, and I said that to him. I'm like, actually, I think it'll be okay now because I'm like, the fact that you're actually willing to be this and offer that without being pissed at me tells me that it's different already. And actually, ever since that moment, I stopped apologizing, I stopped being nice, and I started just saying what was true, and this doesn't work for me, for me. It was weird because it's like he wasn't cheating on me, he wasn't abusing me physically. What reason do I have to divorce him? But actually, it was just a thing, like I was having my own back. And then he changed. He literally changed from that moment on. And he enjoys life more now. He's also not a slave to the farm anymore. He has this sense of possibility that he never had. He can relax and have fun. And in fact, this summer, we're kind of having a drought, and normally he would be really stressed. He's actually like, you know what? I'm not giving my life up for the farm anymore. He's like, I'm going to enjoy what I have, and we're going to do things. And I'm like, who are you? Anyway, so that's my story. That's how that showed up for me. I was being nice in our relationship, and then I turned it to being kind. Okay, Lil, combining is ground for divorce in most marriages. True story. Lori, I almost fell over when Lee said to me, it's my fault. I forgot there was a chance of a storm. Right? Like when you ask these questions, what else is possible? like stuff changes all around you. People change. But it also invited me, like I had to get into that uncomfortable spot and actually say something. That was hard. It was challenging to be that. Anyway, if you're curious, if you want to come on an adventure, I do this thing called the Daily Dose, where every day we run an energetic clearing and we have topics and conversations, daily conversations about a certain topic. And this month is kindness. And it's called the Daily Dose, Killing with Kindness, where we're running some clearings to, allow you to step into actually being kind and stop being nice, and what that would be like for you. So if you want to join, it's 30 days. It's 97 Canadian dollars. There's also a group facilitation Zoom. I'm going to put a link with this video, and we start today. But if you join tomorrow or the next day, you will get the replays of the first couple of days. And the magic game, that's free. I'm going to post that link to the Create Life Worth Living Facebook group, and you can join us there, which I'm actually heading over there in 6 minutes to do that live. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. And I have a sense that Coffee Chat is going to be happening at 7 a.m. because it was just a really fun time. Okay. Have an amazing day. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya says, yeah, just a little thing you do that changes our world. Hugs, lady. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now, guys.